Welcome back to another episode of When It Matters. We've got a special episode for our International Women's Day series. I've got three wonderful guests. I think this is the most we've ever had on the sofa. This is very exciting. And also my fabulous co-host, Hilary.
I'm Hilary Lewis. I'm from the Digital Accountants Club. I'm the community manager there. I think that's exciting episode ready.
Exciting episode. So we've got Natasha Everard, Suzannah Whelan and Amy Hancock all together. So just to start off, maybe some very quick intros from all three of you, and then let's get into it. Do you want to start?
So I am Natasha Everard and I run Bewitching Bookkeeping, but I also champion sole practitioner bookkeepers. I also have my own community called the Maverick Revolution, which continues that. But I also wrote a book called The Bookkeeper Superhero, which helped people get into becoming a sole practitioner, and I gave away it for free, and it's currently had over 14,800 I've checked downloads in just over 2 years. My main thing is to help others.
Susanna,
why do I have to run that? That's not fair. I'm Suzannah Whelan. I've been running my practice, Sinclair Whelan Bookkeeping, for coming up to 17 years now, and I also do a podcast with Amy and Aaron called MTD Watch, which is part of the Ask the Accountant network.
So I'm Amy Hancock. I'm not a bookkeeper. I'm an auditor and an accountant. I do a few podcasts you might have seen me on with Suzannah. I also do a QuickBooks Labs, and me and another colleague, James Goulsborough, do Being Accountant Boss, where we share everything about how we've grown our practice and bring people on that have helped us along the way.
Amazing. Got some podcast veterans with us today. so ideal. So something I wanted to kind of start with is, like, when I met you all, when we were kind of prepping for this, it really struck me that all three of you have kind of built careers in the kind of accounting, bookkeeping and finance that are not necessarily like having followed the traditional accounting path. Like, I know, Suzannah, for example, you were in TV first. It's also coincidence. Amy Copeland as well was also in TV.
Yes.
Clearly that is perhaps a way to go to eventually get to accounting or bookkeeping. And Natasha, obviously you have this incredible personal brand about being the bookkeeper superhero, and then Amy, you're in audit, which we talked about is
I love the way you say audit. It's like the majority of the community. Audit. Yes.
So I'd love to know from all three of you, like, when did you kind of consciously realise that the kind of well-trodden path wasn't for you, or how did you kind of evolve into these incredibly successful, unconventional
I'm proud to say I'm totally unemployable. I really do not like working for somebody or being part of that kind of micromanaged office environment, and it took a long while to realise it wasn't them, it was me who felt that way. So when I was at my last job, I felt like awful, and I knew I needed to kind of have a bespoke way of earning an income, and I was always mentoring people to become bookkeepers. So I flipped it on its head. Well, if I can mentor him, surely I can do it. So I started doing it, and that's why I think this is really good industry to get in, whether you're a bookkeeper, accountant or auditor, because you can bespoke it to work for you and how you want to run your family, your life, your passions. And for me, that is just not working for anybody. I hate it. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think you should have to apologise.
Yeah,
for that.
I
just think I'm very proud of being unemployable, and I think people should stand up and say that. It's so invigorating and refreshing to know that you're not unusual, you're normal. You just want different things than other people want. You want to make your own money for you, not for somebody else's bank account.
Like you said, I came from a completely different career. So I worked for Channel 4 for I think 11 years, and before that I was at an advertising agency for a couple of years, and that was always what I had wanted to do. I always wanted to work in media. Growing up and at school, that was what I had planned to do, and accounting and bookkeeping was never on my radar, even though my father was a chartered accountant with his own practice. Didn't want to do that, wasn't interested. Loved my career at Channel 4, loved my job, but then when I had children, it's that old thing where that corporate career isn't that compatible with being a mum, and certainly not in a job like that, because it was work hard, play hard, long hours, going out entertaining, all that kind of thing. And I'd moved out of London by that point, so I had a long commute as well, and I went back part-time after my first baby, and then I just thought, this is too hard. It's not what I want. So I had to think of something different that I wanted to do. I didn't want to work for anybody else again, a bit like Natasha. I had a team that I ran at Channel 4, and I couldn't imagine doing a local job starting at the bottom and working for somebody else. So I had to think, what can I do that I can do for myself, that I can fit around my children, and perhaps work from home, maybe work from an office some of the time. And bookkeeping, it just sort of fell in my lap really, and I thought, okay, I can do this. And I never really expected it to grow into what it did, but that's the amazing thing about being a practice owner. You can evolve it to fit around your life and how you want to be. And so that was my story into it, and I really sort of grew the practice as the children grew up. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah.
Both much more exciting than me. I actually did the traditional thing. I always knew I wanted to be an accountant. 18 went into an apprenticeship in a firm, and work your way up, junior, senior, get qualified, management, then went and had my kids, and then I was like, right, I'm ready for directorship. And they were like, there's no room for you. So I went, they're like, what? So I left. I kind of think I subconsciously knew. I went and got my practicing certificate, went and got my audit qualification, just in case I needed it in the future. But I never thought I'd be on my own. Never in a million years. Never in the plan. I never thought I could do that. And there's so many people in practice that have gone through the same thing and think, God, no, I could never do it on my own. But it kind of came at the right time as well, as where all these communities were starting online, and I was like, what's this about? And dipping, I'd be quiet. I think then Suzannah, we probably had been in the same Zoom room for months and not spoken, and watching everything that was going on and what people were sharing. And it's just, and I suppose I'm unemployable now because I like making decisions straight away. I don't like having to run it by the husband, but I don't like to run it by anyone else. I'm like, right, I'm doing this, let's go. And I think it would be frustrating to work for someone and have someone
definitely.
like me backing in that game. So probably unemployable now, but hey ho.
That's so interesting. And I know you obviously mentioned kind of finding kind of community here, and I think as someone who's still quite new to the kind of accountancy world in the UK, that's really struck me. And you guys are also kind of well known and loved in the accountancy and bookkeeping community. How did you guys kind of find this community? Like, where did, I guess, you've got so many connections with your own podcast, like how did that all kind of start for you guys?
Well, community, I couldn't find one when I first started, so I created one. And the old community that I found was old forums where you would answer a question and you'd get these really old kind of historical accountants and bookkeepers that would snap your head off. And I thought, God, I'm newbie. I don't like that. So I created a Facebook community, which is now boasting 16,000 members, and which now is actually run by who I really aspire to be, which is Della Hudson. I gave it to her last year. So I couldn't find the right community that would fit my needs. The fact that I could get a question answered that didn't actually make me feel inferior, because I was already feeling inferior. The imposter syndrome, was it the right decision? So I had to make it. And then because of that, there was like more and more tech stuff. So hence why I kind of followed that route, and hence why my podcast, the Absolutely Bookkeeping Podcast, came from that, was to highlight all the solutions bookkeepers are out there using, because no bookkeeping practice is ever the same. We all use different things. Our clients are all individual, so why not have our practice individual? And that's where that came from. So that's why I'm a community thing. I've got a bit of a passion for communities. My previous one was 27,000 in a year, and I won a PQ award for. And I like helping people, because I have the greatest belief that you always must help somebody, because you might be the only one who does.
Yeah, well, I joined your group on Facebook
Yeah.
Years ago now. I remember coming across that and thinking, oh wow, because I'd been in practice at that point for probably, I don't know, 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And it's lonely being in practice without a community. And in those days, there really wasn't much. And I think your Facebook group was one of the first ones I joined, and then you start recognizing people's names, and you might sort of chat a bit, and then you might then recognise the name when you go to an event, and then you can have that kind of introduction when you can you can talk about things. And then I think COVID changed a lot as well, because then we had lots of groups kind of sprung up. We had I'm a member of ICB, and ICB were really supportive. We had this ICB TV thing every day that they did like a 2 o'clock or whatever, I can't remember what, it was like a join this sort of online meeting, and they'd give us information, but we could also just chat, and that changed everything. And then then all these other groups sort of sprung up, so that wasn't around when I started, and that has been transformative for me and my practice, definitely. And it just makes things just so much easier. You just know so many more people. Going to events, I used to go to events and sit on my own and be too scared to sort of talk to anyone, but now
peer support is like it's priceless, really, isn't it? Because you can see things that software providers don't tell you. You can see things, quirks it has, it's ways around things. And the fact is, I used to be one of these persons that I'll never turn up to an accounting event, and I was quite vocal about that in my community, until I actually turned up at one, and I got overwhelmed. I only lasted probably about 2 or 3 hours, but I did it, and I felt so much reward from actually seeing people that I'd connected with online, and seeing that the power that these communities that people were creating gave people to actually make those steps, make those choices. It's so powerful that I started going to more and more events, and then hence why I started then speaking at these events. And it's kind of like a chain reaction, isn't it? Just from a community
it's
years
crazy,
ago.
because I remember you not going to events, and you used to be very you were adamant you weren't going to go to events.
You
You're
don't
an
need to
I'm
do
an
it,
introvert. I'm not. Now look at you.
I know, I'm everywhere.
Speaking
Sorry.
at
I'm
everything.
your worst nightmare. So,
No, not at all.
It's becoming more of a necessity, isn't it? I think for whether you're an accountant or a bookkeeper or just in that finance space, I think actually feeling that you belong to one, because there are a lot out there now. Finding the right one for you is, I think, more impactful for your business if you're going to be learning and growing and developing.
They've evolved, because obviously Amy's the champion of having like workathons, workcations, and so they've kind of evolved from the community to becoming like a workplace where you can work together and learn things, and having that power of different kind of levels of abilities and knowledge all in one place.
Having colleagues, it's like being part of a team. But you still have your own practice.
You're still not employable.
It's
not
good. Employable.
Best of both worlds, I think.
So that's what I mean. It's an evolution of what started off as a helping thing, that people have now taken it to a kind of new level, that people are getting a real benefit from being a part of these smaller communities, these smaller networks, because it is very lonely doing your industry when you're working alone. And if you have a person where you can actually run something by and say, am I being stupid, or is this what meant to happen, or has this gone wrong? And especially with this MTD that's about to hit us all with a ton of bricks.
What is that?
It's kind of these places making tax digital, income tax, but not ITSA anymore. They dropped the SA. But we're having those kind of powerful things is now. You don't feel so silly about having cock-ups or making mistakes, because you can say to them, have I misread this something? And somebody can say, well, yeah, you have actually. It actually means this. And you go, it's just another misconception what HMRC have actually put loads of crap on the paper, and we're not reading it right, or duplicated something again like they normally do.
I mean, I feel like you guys are more fortunate in the bookkeeping space. There's no audit space.
Yeah,
no
I was going to ask you about
You're an
this.
honorary bookkeeper if you like.
Yeah, only bookkeepers. I only have bookkeepers. So, I kind of like tag along. But no, there's no. I think there's one event a year for auditors, but most of them are closet auditors anyway. So that's fine. That's fine.
I'm just going to say, Digital Accountants Club, we're under the umbrella, so we're all for all finance professionals.
Yes.
So you can come join us. Come join and be with us.
That's a good lead on to how I got into the community space. So in traditional accountancy practice, where I came from, your community is who you work with. You don't mingle with other accountants. They're your competition. You don't speak to them. You don't know what they're going on. I was only aware of Accountex, wasn't aware of any other events, and I was allowed to go one day, and it was all software. So I didn't mingle with anyone, and it's only when I used LinkedIn for its purpose, rather than just, you've got to have LinkedIn and you've got to share the company posts every now and then. I had no connections apart from my employees. It was pointless exercise. And that's where I come across Jerry Williams. And that was in September 22. And I was still employed, and I'd already just made the decision that I was going to leave. and she was sharing everything, and I had no idea what I was doing. I had a practice certificate, I had an audit qualification, but I didn't know how to run a business. So when she was sharing everything in Accountants Wealth Academy, and that's where me and Suzannah met, it was like I was hanging on every word, and that's how I got to start talking to people. And I got my first introduction to speaking on stage with the ACCA during that time as well. And then it just kind of evolved from there, and gradually I've got more people in the network that I've got, so it doesn't feel like I am on my own, exactly what Natasha was saying, because it is so isolating. You are talking to your clients all the time, but they're not going through the same experience. You almost have to have this persona that you've got it together. If you're an accountant, you've got the whole, you can do marketing, you can do sales, you can do all that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm great at it. And then I'll be like, Suzannah, help me. So it's essential, and there's no way that I would have actually taken the leap if I didn't have the community and the tools that I got from that community in place to then go, right, I'm actually leaving. I was on a part-time thing. I'm actually going to go and I'm actually going to do it. So having the confidence from the community as well. So even before you're making the decisions, join these communities, get an idea if you like the feel for it, reassurance that there are people around that are willing to share and help you, that will make people take the leap. And that's where I kind of want to get to, getting those newly qualified, or not just newly qualified, actually people that have been working for others. You can go out and do it on your own. There are the tools, there are people willing to share, there are the communities. So yeah, I'm probably one where it has pushed, the community probably pushed me to make that leap a little bit.
Gosh.
And you said that you obviously got the opportunities to speak on stages, and I know all three of you have that do a lot of public speaking now, and whether it's on podcasts or I think you all said earlier that you're at the festival of Fab, isn't it? You got, what is it with the accounting industry and finance with acronyms? Like obsessed.
Acronym.
What would you say that you get out of public speaking? Is it more clients? Is it credibility? Like what does that produce for you and your businesses?
For me, I never thought I would do anything like that. I would, even 2 or 3 years ago, I never would have come on a podcast. I never would have done anything. And I made a sort of deal with myself that I was going to start saying yes to things. I wasn't going to say no to things. I wasn't necessarily going to seek them out, but I wasn't going to say no to opportunities. And for me, the credibility and the connections. Imposter syndrome is such a massive thing. And I think women particularly, when we're setting up in business on our own, especially if we're doing it having left another career, it really, you lose your confidence. So doing these things has actually given me my confidence back, even though I didn't feel confident when I started doing them. Just, you realise, actually, yes, I do have something valid to say and people will listen to me. And so confidence and credibility, definitely, and connections.
I think for me, it's all about being the industry specialist. I always wanted to be a techie, and I've taken that to its limit. But I also champion sole practitioners. I think we get a rum deal in this industry where, for example, we have software vendors that will make it minimum licenses that we have. What the hell? When we're only one, we don't need like 4 more for our mysterious friends in the background. I think for me, I started off small speaking. I think my opportunity was given by the ICB to do software as an employee, and I did that a couple of years ago on their virtual summit, and I loved it. I love engaging people to show how they could use the simple software that they already have and make the most of it, so that they can get rid of the admin stuff and things like that. And it's just blown mental now. I've got a fair few sessions at Fab this year and CPD store. I'm talking all about technology and optimizing, and now having my own community that's paid community, where I'm running AI month this month, I'm doing Microsoft month next month, and it's all about optimizing things. So I gave my community a list of saying, find out what you don't like doing and we'll find an AI solution for that. And that's what we've done. So I've done examples of how to use Gamma this week, how to do converting a bank statement into CSV files in seconds. It's empowering people. I have profited from it in a small way where I have got more members to my community but I don't charge excess amounts for my community. It's small because I want it to remain small. I want to help the people. I want to know everybody in there. I think for me, it's given me the confidence that I am who I am, and I'm proud of being I am. And I think if I can show that to other people, they can stand up and be passionate about what they are. And like you, just go on there and when we watch your podcast, you resonate with all the common issues we're all struggling with at MTD and things like that. And it's nice to have that sounding board that somebody else is actually publicly saying that, and we're not saying, oh my God, what have they done now, kind of thing. And it's that kind of real nice feeling that you're working as a whole community of accountants and bookkeepers together to fathom out the best solution that we can give the best possible value to our clients. So
Love that. Yeah.
Well said.
see, I do watch your podcasts.
I could never stand up on stage by myself. I don't know
No,
how.
I couldn't either.
I don't know how you do that. I need to bounce off of. There you go. It's me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need to bounce off of someone.
I don't
It
know.
needs
I
to be a
think it's the fact
conversation.
that when you're actually standing up there and you're so passionate about something, you forget who's there. And then when I finally finished my talk at Accountex and saw there was like all the seats were taken, then there was rows and rows of people. So I just had to stand there and went, oh, like that, and I don't do it with cards or prompts because I find that when you're doing that, you're very reading from a script. You're very it doesn't flow like you. So whatever I talk in a talk is actually from my knowledge and what I'm passionate about. Because how can you be an industry specialist if you don't know the subject inside out? How can you portray that passion if you're reading from a script and looking down here and not engaging with people? And
do you think I can do that about audit?
yes, because what
no one would be.
no, seriously, if you think about it, audit is only portrayed that way because nobody's actually stood on a soapbox and championed it. This is your opportunity to create that audit community, to stand up and champion the power that audit has for the clients and for their accounts that go to statutory things like that. Why not champion it?
Well, yeah, this is why it's kind of been not easy so much because I still didn't want to stand up on stage. I was still absolutely bricking it the first time I went on stage, but I was with other people, so there was no planning whatsoever, and I'm talking now. I need accountants. Not many auditors go straight to the client, unless they've got the accounts function, but championing for small audit practitioners, which are dwindling. Everyone's giving it up, too hard, giving it up, too much regulation. I'm like, no, we can do it. Stay with me, please stay with me. So although I suppose it is getting more work for me, I'm more like, I want more people to come and be in a community. So that talking about it more and trying to break that stereotype a bit is.
I think it's the illusion of what audit has always been. You always see the auditors come in the year end with the big cases and they're checking every single piece of paperwork. I think it's highlighting how it's evolved and what benefits it is. I think
it's the benefit.
Think it's the misconceptions, and I think there is a great opportunity to raise the profile of auditing to be an integral part. You've got the bookkeeping, you've got the accounts, and then you've got the auditing as a part of a whole flow of process that certain clients have to go through this process, and it's all in the ultimate benefit of their clients and their business.
And I think you're making it more accessible. You're making it more approachable. You're not like a old fuddy-duddy man in a suit with a briefcase.
My gosh, it's not that good.
I used to get frightened with the auditors coming every year because they used to come in, like I say, with these great big cases. They'd lock themselves in the room and they'd only come out if they were making a cup of coffee, and then at the end of the day they'll give you a list. I want to see this invoice, and why have you posted this, and you are scared of auditors. So I think having that kind of personal thing, who you are, you're very visual, you're very you're not a common historical we see auditors, is actually bringing a lot more to the profession.
Thank you. I mean, I've still got a case and I still like a list,
but you've also got a neon audit Amy sign.
I do. I do have a neon sign. I mean, I don't carry it around with me. Maybe I should.
I think you should.
But do you lock yourself in a little office and then come out and scare people?
I much prefer to be out.
Well, there we go.
I get more if I'm out in the mix with the bookkeepers, the finance team, even the operations team. I get more, and they get more. And prime example, I was on one this week, and we found out that there were issues in the software that they were using that was linking with Xero, and they're like, oh, it's been like that for years. Oh, we'll change it straight away. Whereas if I was locked away, like your traditional approach to it, sometimes we just like our headphones in, but people do that in the office now anyway. You don't have to be in a cupboard to do that, and I don't want to make coffee.
No, but that's how you see them. So you're a new movement of changing the perception as we see accountants and auditors.
I'm going to use that on LinkedIn.
Oh, you do that.
Thanks.
But don't you think that it's quite hard actually for women in the space, because the majority of events that you go to, when you look, I've only been in the space a small amount of time, and I've gone to the events and I have looked up on the stage and I've seen a panel of 5 white middle-aged men sat up there giving the talks. I think the more female speakers we have in the industry giving a voice to the women and the experiences they're having in the industry is only going to produce kind of a domino effect, isn't it? If you can see other women doing it, you guys are championing being out there. Like
I think we're
it's
very lucky
encouraging
as a bookkeeping profession that we have predominantly female speakers. I think the bookkeeping industry has kind of evolved with kind of the ICB being the forefront of the qualification of that area and the championing bookkeepers. It seems to be predominantly a female who are leading that industry, whereas accountants have always seemed to be predominantly men for some reasons.
I think a lot of it stems from what I was talking about, how people, often women, come to bookkeeping as a second career after having children, because it is such an ideal profession to go into to fit around your family, whereas I suppose perhaps accountants, more like you, go into it as a career choice from the start. So perhaps that's where there's that kind of slight disparity.
And I think as bookkeepers we champion each other more.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
And I think accountants, like you say, you see them on LinkedIn, they all squabble. No offense. They squabble because they all want to be the best of the best, which they all are in their own little niches. But I think you'll find I hardly ever see any bookkeepers actually being negative about another bookkeeper or another kind of.
I think we're a lot more nurturing. We are for our clients as well. We're much more kind of in the business day to day, having that. We're all about people, aren't we? At the end of the day, we're all about that contact and understanding what's going on, and that kind of broadens out to us sort of across our community as well.
Do you think that's because that there are more women in the space, like those softer skills that perhaps women are seen to have?
I think so, probably. Yeah.
I mean, we do have some kick-ass bookkeepers out there. We've got like Michal. He always champions bookkeeping, doesn't he? He's everywhere, bless him. And then you've got Tim, who's based in Guernsey, who is absolutely awesome because he rocks a bookkeeping team and he champions that. So we have got some really great male bookkeepers out there. I just think at the moment, like say, the family side of bookkeeping really attracts those who need to find their own individuality and find a place for them, because a lot of people, like you say, after having children, they still want a career. They still want to feel like they have a purpose, not just their family, their kids, their husband or anything. They want to be part of something else. And that's what bookkeeping gives them. Accountancy is brilliant, but a lot of bookkeeping qualifications allow you to do certain levels, not audit, because obviously that's specialist, but they can do.
Come join me.
I think I would get
Come
annoyed.
over to the dark side.
To the dark side.
I don't know any other sole audit practitioners that are women. I don't know anyone. And you talking about that, and I'm thinking about with the lack of community I have. And when I do meet other auditors, they're like, oh yeah, no, we're getting out of the space, like on their own. I did go to one audit leaders event and I felt so out of place. There were women in the room, big firms, and it was always a kind of looking down. Oh, you're a sole practitioner. Oh, and you're a woman sole practitioner. But we've all, since COVID, I know everything changed since COVID, but audit's more remote now. There is no way I would be doing audit pre-COVID because I would need to be at client premises, and I have 2 young children, and that's school runs to do and all the other school admin we all have to do. There is no way I'd be able to do it, but now we've all evolved into more of a remote. It is possible, and I think it's such a shame that people are not staying in the space with me when they really can. And I feel like if we had more of a sense of community, there's still that competition element when it comes to accountants and auditors. It's gradually getting, bookkeepers are way ahead of us in that respect, because you are really championing each other, and you've got all these groups, you've got all these events. There are some in the accountancy space and audit space that say they're community, but there's still this kind of competitiveness of and you know, the professional clearance and what are you going to give? I'm not going to give that. Like this. So it's a battle to get more community there, but also I want more women in audit as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think what's the expression, like waving that flag? I think a bit more. I mean, I think actually it was interesting when we had Aaron Patrick on the pod, and at the end I asked him to shout somebody out who he thought was doing something cool, and he shouted out Amy. He was like, shout out Amy, like she's doing such amazing work in the space, we need more women doing it. And it was interesting because he was talking a lot about how the number one like quality that he looks for in his team when he's hiring for accountants and bookkeepers is like empathy. Like it's literally the number one kind of differentiating factor which will establish whether he'll hire somebody. Obviously it's very associated with women, right? And obviously of course you've got incredible empathetic men, 100%, but do you feel as though that has been a real like underpinning of all the great kind of work you guys do in your day-to-day on the accounting, bookkeeping, audit side? Like would you say that is very much like your leading, if you look back on the success that you've had, is a huge part of that, your ability to empathize and really?
I'd probably say, again, go back to my audit space. I, from the start, from a junior, so 20 years ago, I was very much when I was out at a client's, because it was all at client's premises for weeks on end, I wanted to be involved with the client and what was going on. And you know, back then when I used to smoke as well, and I would go out with 20 years ago when it was all okay, it was never okay, but I used to go out with the directors and I'd get the information from them, and it would make me a better auditor to actually be, not the smoking, don't smoke with people, okay, but I mean just being approachable and, you know, being there to listen and hear. You get more out of them, and I was not that I was searching for information, but you get to understand the client more, and they get more out of you as well. So we can all sit there and do a bank rec, but do we actually understand what the client does, how they operate, how their mind thinks on their spending, and you know, how they approach personal spends versus business spends and things like that? So the empathetic side is a way of us understanding how they work, the clients work, and how different they are from other clients, so we can work better with them. So I completely get the whole looking at empathy with employees, because you want to promote what you're about in other people. We can't do everything. At some point we need to have some employees if we want to grow, and we want another one of us would be great. So if we're empathetic and we get someone that's on the same page, we're winning.
And it's all about know, like and trust, isn't it, with clients? You get, if they like you and trust you, you can help them more because they open up more. You can see what's going on in the business. They can treat you more as a sounding board. And a lot of my clients are small businesses. They might only be one director, and they haven't had anyone who they can really talk to, who, you know, they can offload their business worries on, or put, you know, ideas, you know, things that they might want to do. And I really like that part of the role now, because once you've built that rapport and that you empathize with them and they feel that trust, you can really add value with what you do, because you've got all the numbers, but you know what they're trying to do and what they want. You can see potential issues that they've had, you know, and you can offer so much more than just doing the bookkeeping. And that's the part that I really enjoy.
It builds more of like an ecosystem, doesn't it, that you're integrated with their business rather than a separate
kind of.
And even
Yeah.
working remotely, you can do that. You know, that's how I work with my clients.
Yeah, I think, and the whole reason we set up the podcast in the first place actually was because we just realized that you guys are these like incredible sources of knowledge and wisdom. I feel like obviously with numbers, but running a business in general, because you're so, as you said, like integrated in with them, and these incredible advisors. And I guess I wish we could chat all day, but we are nearly at time. So I've got last 2 questions for you all. So the theme of this year's International Women's Day is give to gain. So all about kind of collaboration and support and reciprocity. And so I'd love to know, what's one thing you feel as though you feel kind of proud that you've sort of given in your role as an accountant or bookkeeper or auditor, and what's one thing that your career and work in the space like has given you, which you've gained from it?
I think it's the power of helping others. Like I say, always help somebody. I think that helping others has helped me grow my confidence and made me a better bookkeeper in the long run, because you are being empathy again with others. You're understanding that you've gone through that trial and tribulation and starting your business or struggling with that certain difficult vampire client, so you can empathize how to deal with that. It may not be the same kind of situation, but you know how they feel, how they don't sleep, how they struggle, they can't eat and things like that. So helping them out by just a nice word is great. And like I said, it's made me feel that being a bookkeeper myself, I can empower my clients as well as myself by keep doing what I'm doing.
I love that. Oh, perfect answer.
Sorry, I'll go last each time.
Yeah. Let me go first. No, I meant in the sense of before Natasha. We were like, yep, okay, she stole our words.
She did, basically. Yeah, so like what you said, the thing that I really love is when a client will say to me, oh my God, it's such a relief that you've sorted that, or that we've got a plan for that. And that's what I really like. And that makes, like you said, it makes me feel more confident in what I think, I do know what I'm talking about. I'm not an imposter. So yeah, that kind of thing.
Right now I've got I mean, I'm a compliance geek. I like getting a set of accounts done and it looked pretty at the end, and that gives me the satisfaction. And I knew that I could continue doing that when I went on my own. There would be that work there, but I think I never knew I'd be doing this. And I think the people in the space that I'm thankful for that have shown that you can do the compliance and be the technical and be the auditor, but you can still go out there and share a bit of your personality and enjoy yourself along the way. So I've really taken from other people that you can be more than just the ticker and basher. And I just like to share that. I'd like to give other people the confidence to actually do it as well. We love numbers, we love making a P&L look pretty and everything in the right place, but also, you know, I want to encourage, and I know you two do as well, want to encourage other people to do the same. Go out on your own. You can do things. You can have your own business and still have a community.
Who is there another woman in the accounting, bookkeeping, or auditing space? I wish. Who you'd like to kind of shout out and nominate, who's doing something a little bit different, doing some cool work? I'm going to say Catherine Fremond. She is the sustainability queen, and I think she's the unsung hero of the bookkeeping world. The fact that along with other people like Penny, she works together to raise our awareness of how much we are taking from the earth and not replacing. So I think I'd like to champion her. Great one. Shout out, Catherine.
Damn you. Well, I was going to say Penny Allard and also Kirsty St John, because they were my little posse from they were the first kind of bookkeepers who I really got to know well, and who have really, we've got a little accountability group, and they have really, we've all really impacted each other's practices. They are on my WhatsApp every single day. I probably speak to them more than I speak to my husband, I think. And Penny's doing some amazing things with sustainability as well. And very inspirational.
Love it. Shout out Penny. bit terrified for my swim. Good
luck.
Shanna.
And mine would be Hannah Simpson, who was my accountability partner in the Accountants Wealth Academy with Jerry Williams, and she has just become chair of the ACCA for Wales.
Amazing.
So she's really coming out of herself, doing more exciting things with the ACCA, so she'd be great to chat to.
There are so many like absolutely amazing women in the industry, and I think that's something coming in from not from like outside the space. There's so many that stand out and are visible, but actually it's the ones who don't have that visibility that I feel like they're the ones that they're probably listening now thinking, oh, you know, no one's ever going to say my name on these podcasts or when they get these nominations. And I think it's actually more important to shout them out, the people who are unsung and don't even have any sort of social media presence or have no visibility whatsoever, because if they can start getting on social media and start coming to conferences and join communities, they're the ones who then could be sat here this time next year. It doesn't take long to kind of build on that. So for me, it would definitely be the ones behind the scenes rather than the ones who are already out there.
I love that answer.
Nice.
Yeah, like the next generation.
Yeah.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much. I have loved this. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you for being episode 2 of our International Women's Day series special. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.